Here's what Bob's Burgers would look like if it was live action. Let's get into it. For Tina, we've got Millie Bobby Brown, Jenna Ortega, Lily Rose Depp, or Julia Butters. I figure if you're good enough to act opposite Leo in a Tarantino flick, you might have the chops to nail everyone's favorite butt-loving teenager. Would she be too cool for this? For sure, absolutely. Would I love to see her try? Also yes. Oh, and someone else mentioned Chris Pratt? No. I'd say Julia Butters is the best casting choice, and Lily Rose Depp is definitely the worst, although great performance in Nosferatu, really just, fantastic. Just a little old for the role. Now for Bob Belcher, Rice8003 gave us our requisite mention of Chris Pratt, so let's see Star-Lord in the role of Bob Belcher. Multiple people also suggested Ryan George, and you know what? Screw it, let's see Rai as Bob Belcher. Beautiful. Another strong pick, Ron Livingston. As one Redditor points out, he practically already played Bob in Loudermilk. John Hamm would also make for a great Bob. Hell, have you seen that guy with the big bushy mustache? Iconic. Finally, I've seen a lot of people recommend Nick Offerman. I don't know, to me he doesn't really scream Bob. Great actor, amazing. Not really Bob.
No.
I'd say if we're assuming H. John Benjamin can't do it for whatever reason, John Hamm is the best casting choice, and Pratt is definitely the worst.
You're all horrible! Sorry.
For Louise, this user suggested Jenna Ortega, which, I don't know, looks weird to me. Maybe because I have an easier time picturing Chris Pratt as a 9-year-old. If we could bend time and get Ant-Man era Abby Ryder Fortson, she'd be my pick. Best choice definitely is Abby Ryder Fortson, and the worst choice has to go to Jenna Ortega. No offense to the great Wednesday Addams, of course. For Gene, let's go with Sweet Tooth's Christian Convery. Now for Spits and Giggles, let's see him as Mr. Fish Odor. Okay, that's funny. Now for some bonus casting, one user suggested Ryan Gosling as Coochie Kopi. Let's see if my AI Wunderkind can add that to the Pratt interpretation of Louise. Good enough. Linda Belcher. Okay, this is a tough one, so I took it to Reddit. There I found this incredible, underrated thread by user Grahamcracker Inc., who suggested Julia Louise-Dreyfus. She's already a New Yorker, so the accent should be easy. I don't know, wow, this user gets it. Great thread. For supporting cast, obviously Kevin Kline as Mr. Fishodor, Bobby Cannavale as Jimmy Pesto, Nathan Lane as Felix Fishodor, Will Sasso as Teddy, and David Herman as Mr. Frond. And of course, this one shamefully isn't in the Reddit thread, but Laverne Cox as Marshmallow. Obviously. Now for the plot. So okay, we have our cast of characters in all their AI glory. What about the story? Didn't mean to rhyme there. Well, I think, firstly, this is a one-off kind of thing, and what better way to do this than a Thanksgiving episode? The family celebrates Thanksgiving, and Bob has to try to cook a perfect turkey. Classic Bob's Burgers, and a great reason to bring in as many characters/cameos as humanly possible.
I know, isn't it great?
So stay with me here. How about Bob decides to keep the restaurant open for Thanksgiving after the power goes out throughout the rest of the city, leaving only a few restaurants, including Jimmy Pesto, available to the Belchers' many colorful neighbors. This leads to a showdown between Bob and Jimmy Pesto over who can put together the best last-minute neighborhood Thanksgiving celebration. In the end, they decide to work together in order to contend with the massive demand. And they even get, the help of Gary Cole's Sergeant Bosco to close down the street so that they can have space for everyone to celebrate together. Primarily, I want to see two things: as many characters as possible in live action, and as many of the locations we know and love. This means the episode needs to take place primarily in and around the restaurant, with maybe a kids' adventure side quest that takes us to Wonder Wharf. As far as the key differences we'll have to account for between the normal animated show and the live-action version, I don't think there's really anything to worry about, other than the mouth-watering hamburgers Bob cooks up, not to mention the flawless Thanksgiving turkey. This thing should be a foodie's dream come true. It should be like Chef or Tampopo in how it shows us food. In fact, I'd put both those films on my vision board for this hypothetical masterpiece. So, do we need a live-action Bob's Burgers? Of course not, but if we got one, it'd be pretty hip to see what the production team could come up with, and frankly, having John Hamm flipping burgers and smooching with Julia Louise-Dreyfus while their gaggle of kids run around putting their little lives in danger seems like a pretty fun time to me. But what do you think? Yay or nay to a live-action Bob's Burgers? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching ScreenRant. I think that didn't suck.